This is One on One. We're now joined by Josh Baron and Dean Budnick, authors of Ticketmasters, The Rise of the Concert Industry and How the Public Got Scalped. Good to see you guys.
Good to be here, Steve.
I'm curious about this. You guys wrote this book called Ticketmasters to look at why ticket prices are where they are and who's driving up ticket prices. And I would have immediately thought it's Ticketmaster. It can't be the performers, right?
I mean, I think part of the story of Ticketmaster's success is that for many years they were very willing to take the heat and be willing to catch all of the blame, whereas realistically, when you get really right down to it, the bottom line is the artists do dictate it in terms of how much of a guarantee that they want in order to put on a performance.
What do you mean by, like, let's be clear, a guarantee? Like Springsteen, the Rolling Stones, they come in and they say what?
We want $1 million per show, let's say, to play a stadium, or for a stadium, probably even more. And so whatever that guarantee is, whatever the revenue sharing model is going to dictate what the promoter has to charge, the base price for that ticket. So, you see prices varying wildly. Right now, Neil Young and Crazy Horse are playing Madison Square Garden just down the street, and I think the best tickets are in the $200 range. That's pretty expensive. But when an act like, say, the Black Keys or Fish plays there, most tickets are about $60.
And you're saying again, it is the performer.
Ultimately, it is the performer.
So I want to go through a couple people. And the reason I mentioned Springsteen is because you got some people out there like Springsteen who are quite political, meaning a lot of the music is about working people, the pain of working people, the suffering of working people, or people not working. Is Springsteen one of those people who says, you know what, I'm going to make sure that the ticket prices are more reasonable. I'm going to make sure that they don't get, my people, my fans don't get screwed, don't get scalped, whatever.
I'll tell you what, Springsteen does, but it's very, very complicated. Because what Springsteen did, I think a lot of people would argue, and Josh and I have talked about this a bit, he priced his tickets too low. And as a result...
Whoa, how could they ever be too low?
Well, right, but he priced his best seats for his current tour in the $60 to $75 range. As a result of this, what's happened is that people in other parts of the country are going online and scarfing up those tickets with the thought that they can just turn around and sell them. And as a result, a lot of the best seats to the Springsteen shows have gone on sale in the secondary market at prices that most people just can't afford.
Talk about this so-called secondary market.
Well, the secondary market, otherwise known as scalping, ticket brokering, has been around for well over a century. People were scalping tickets to see Charles Dickens speak. Right. But this is, the secondary market is an indicator of what the real value of a ticket is. So as Dean just said,
excuse me, what the market will get.
Correct.
That's what you mean.
So as Dean just said, Springsteen may price his tickets between $60 and $90, but the market value for those tickets, for those best seats in the house, are likely, as you said earlier, 5, 6, 7 times that.
Get out of here.
Easily.
Well, who's scalping? Who is actually scalping?
Well, I think what's interesting today is that the internet has allowed, Joe Smith that lives next door to you in your apartment building to become a scalper versus, the Mike Damone character from Fast Times at Ridgemont High wearing the trench coat hanging outside the concert.
So wait a minute, the stereotypical picture of the scalper has changed dramatically.
Certainly. There are many of those people, but there are many more moms and pops sitting out in the Midwest who realize they can go online when the tickets go on sale, then they can use a platform like StubHub or Tickets Now, and they can make, just for sitting there 5 minutes, they can turn that money over, make 100% profit really, really quickly.
Explain to me service fees.
Service fees are interesting and somewhat mystifying in that they're usually not broken down on a ticket.
What are they?
Well, here's...
Why does that get a laugh from you guys?
Well, invariably, people ask us that question.
What are they?
Well, really, what they are a means for concert promoters and the ticketing company and many times the artists to make a little extra profit on it.
I'm out. In my old neighborhood in Newark, New Jersey, when people would occasionally involved in they would bet with other people in the neighborhood. It would be called the VIG. Is this the VIG? Vigorish? Is that what it is? It's on top of the bet. Meaning if you bet with somebody $100, you got to bet $110 for a $100 bet. That's what sounds like you're talking about. In order to be in the game, you're paying an extra $10 on a $100 bet. That's a service fee to me. That's a VIG.
I would contend that by your
Don't act
definition-
like you don't know what I mean when I say the VIG.
No, I'll...
Is that what it is?
Yes.
That's illegal.
Well, understand that companies, ticket agents like Ticketmaster, are paying these venues in advance, very similar to the recorded music industry, in advance for the right to exclusively sell their tickets. The service fees are a way, in part, to recoup that advance, and then once it's there, they split it with the venue.
But what are they doing for? You have to do something to get it. What I was talking about before, that's an illegal
Steve, let me
activity to
ask
get involved in betting. Illegally. What are they doing for that service fee? What's the service they're providing?
Steve, you're a busy guy. You don't necessarily have time to go home, to leave the studio now. If tickets were going on sale for your favorite show, say it's Springsteen, you don't have time to hop in the car, go down to New Jersey, get there. Is that worth $750 of your time? A lot of people would say it is,
Okay, so that's what I'm paying for. That's the
what you're
service fee?
Well, there's a...
Oh, really? That's the service fee?
Well, there's a service fee. There's sometimes a convenience charge.
It's a source of revenue. It's a source of revenue. That's the rationalization. But realistically, it's money that's shared.
I got to ask you something. Internet changed this whole thing?
Absolutely.
100%.
I mean, the big place that the internet changed it was the secondary market that we spoke about, because now it's much easier. You can tap into inventory nationwide.
Yeah, real quick though, in the time we have left. But the market, interesting, you said this before, the market is dictating, because you talked about the Springsteen situation 5-6 times more. The market, some of your research showed in the book that, and we know this anecdotally as well, there are some concerts that are not selling out, and some ticket prices that are out there you're not getting. People are not buying them, and so it's falling apart. Talk about it.
Well, generally speaking, about 60%, if you look at the past year or two, 60% of the venues have been filled. And what happens is the people up front, those tickets sell, and the people way in the back, those tickets sell. And it's the seats in the middle where, people, if you're all the way in the back, that's your experience. You understand that's what you're doing. If you're up in the front, a lot of times you're paying a pretty penny to get up there. It's in the middle where they can't necessarily move those seats. That's where the concert industry is sort of falling apart.
Got a minute left. Tell me what Relics magazine is.
Relics magazine was founded almost 40 years ago. Traditionally, it's a Grateful Dead magazine, Grateful Dead parking lot. We're now a whole lot more. We cover jam bands, indie music, electronic music, bluegrass, world music, just about everything. We really mirror the modern festival scene.
Why'd you guys write this book?
It's a subject that fascinated us. And for a few years, there's a story in the book about the string cheese incident, which brought suit against Ticketmaster in 2003. And at that time, we were thinking about doing it. And then 7 years passed, and no one had written the darn book. And it just interested us. And we're concerned, because frankly, when the emerging acts are out there, people have trouble supporting them when they're spending $500 to go see U2.
Josh Baron, Dean Budnick, Ticketmasters, the rise of the concert industry and how the public got scalped. Gentlemen, great stuff. Thank you. You've done a public service.
Thanks, Steve.
And there's no service charge. And there's no service charge for watching public television right here from the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center. Be right back right after this.
This special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center. Funding has been provided by Barnabas Health, County College of Morris, connecting learning and life, New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance Group, auto insurance, homeowners insurance, and banking under the principle of stewardship, and by MD Advantage Insurance Company of New Jersey. Promotional support provided by The Record, North Jersey's trusted source, and NorthJersey.com. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been produced in partnership with St. Joseph's Healthcare System.